Hi guys, it's Angela with Wildstyle, and today I'm unboxing. These are seed potatoes that I got from Johnny's Seeds online. I ordered these in at the same time as I ordered the rest of the seeds in. If you saw my other seed unboxing video, they don't ship the seed potatoes until usually a little bit later, until it's time for you to be thinking about planting them. So I got these. These are the Pinto Gold potatoes. They are, it's hard to tell right now because they're older. When they come out of the ground, they have a red and yellow skin, which kind of explains the name Pinto Gold, because a pinto potato is red and a gold potato is typically yellow. And so the Pinto Gold is a combination between the two, and in my opinion, is the best potato. So it has kind of a mild buttery flavor, and they are great. They can be roasted, baked, fried. It's just a great potato. They actually retain quite a bit of moisture. They make a real smooth, creamy mashed potato. They're great for everything. I love them for baked potatoes. We chop them up and fry them up as French fries. They can be used in any recipe. These are actually kind of a favorite for chefs around the world because of their versatility, and their flavor is just superb. So I love them. They are my favorites, and so I have bought these. This is now my third year with these Pinto Golds. I used to do the Pinto Golds and some russets, and it just seemed like we never used the russets or any other flavor potato. We just always went to the Pinto Gold. So I thought, why am I doing anything else when all I need is this one variety? So I've simplified that down to this one variety because it's my favorite. So these are seed potatoes. I got 1 pound of potatoes. And technically you can plant the potato just like this, and they will grow. We actually do that with the potatoes that we have left over that we harvested this year. We save a few and we plant those. Just in case those don't grow, I always like to get fresh seed potatoes from Johnny's, but we do typically plant our older potatoes that have sprouted and they've got long, leggy roots. We just plant that, roots and everything. They grow, they do great. What I like to do, and technically what they say to do, is cut these potatoes so that there's 1 or 2 eyes in each chunk. You want your chunk to be at least 1 inch big, and then you can cut these up and plant each chunk, and that will become its own potato plant. So this one has a couple. So what you're going to do is you want at least 1 eye in each per plant. You can do more than 1 eye is fine, but you definitely want to have at least 1 eye. So this one it does kind of have an eye out here. I'm just going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut these 2 eyes apart. All right, so what I'm trying to do is get the most yield out of these seed potatoes, because there's not very much here. But this really can go farther than you think because you're cutting it into smaller potatoes. So then each chunk you have becomes its own plant. There's actually another eye here. You do want it to be at least 1 inch big, so I kind of just look at it and see what I think is best. There's not a lot of eyes on this side of this potato, so I may just leave that one as a half. Okay, but I'm going to slice right between these eyes because there's a good looking eye right there, if you can see that. And then there's 2 eyes here, so I'm going to slice right down in between those 2 eyes. Once again, creating 2 separate chunks, which will be 2 separate potato plants. Okay, potatoes love sandy soil, which is why they do great for us. But maybe not everybody has that. So if these don't grow as well for you, that may be why. But we've had really good luck with them ourselves. Let's see. I'm only seeing 1 eye on this whole potato, so I'm going to leave that one as is. We'll just plant it straight like that. This one has several, so I'm going to see if I can make at least 3 chunks out of it. I think there's even another eye down here, so cut that off there. Okay, there's 2 eyes on this little one, so we'll cut that in half. And these potatoes are small, so you're not going to get as many eyes out of it. I will get bigger ones. A lot of them are more of a medium size, but I get a variety. So I'll get a few big ones. If you want a ton of big ones, this may not be the variety for you. But even then, we still use the medium-sized ones, and I'll just bake them up as baked potatoes, and there's still plenty of potato there. So they're great. They're big and small. And it's a great potato. So there's 1 eye there. There's one small eye there. It doesn't matter what shape. These don't have to be a specific shape. You just gotta cut them to make sure you've got an eye. Okay, so I just grabbed a cookie sheet. So now you can see, instead of having I should have counted them, 4 or 5 or however many we had here, now I have several potato plants. Okay, so this is now 3, 6, 12, 15, 18, 19, about 20. Okay, about 20 potato plants that we have created out of that 1 pound of potatoes, which for most families is probably going to be fine because each plant is going to produce a bunch of potatoes. So that will give you a lot. Once you cut them, you need to set them out for probably at least, I would say, 12 to 24 hours. Oftentimes I'll do a day or two, just kind of see how they look. But what we want to do is just set them out, and I'll come flip these around. Try and leave the cut sides up. What we're trying to do is get those that just kind of, as they dry out a little bit, that skin will dry out. And that's what you want. If you plant them while they're wet from being cut, they will oftentimes mold before they get a chance to grow. So you want to just dry them out a little bit. So I just set them on a cookie sheet, and I just leave them on my kitchen counter for a day or two. Let them dry out. Okay, so then 4 weeks before your last frost date, you can plant these in the ground as long as it says if your soil temp's at least 50 degrees. I don't know that I've ever taken the time to measure my soil. I usually plant them closer to my last frost date because we're just so busy in the spring season. We get backed up with other things and we don't get to it earlier than that. But if you are going to do it earlier, especially if you're in a colder zone like I am, zone 4 or less, you might just double check your soil temperature, make sure it's at least 50 degrees before you pop these out in there. Okay, then when you plant these, you want to plant them with the eyes facing upwards. Okay, that way the eye is going to become the shoot that comes up, and then roots will come out off of that. Usually you plant them about 2 to 3 inches deep, and then you can space them about 12 inches apart. And then do however many rows you want. It says about 30 inches between rows. We probably don't necessarily do that much. We may do more like 18 rows, but then we are not walking in between them. So it's more just like we plant 2 rows and then the potatoes grow like crazy all throughout those 2 areas. So once you plant them and they grow, you guys are probably aware of this, but once the plant starts growing up, then you can mound additional dirt around the bottom, probably third to half of the plant if you want to, and that will get more potato yield for you as potatoes will grow in that dirt. Sometimes I get there some years and sometimes I don't. We still get a plentiful potato harvest even when we don't mound them up. So either way you get to it, great. If you don't, it'll be okay too. And then once the plant itself starts dying back, you'll see those leaves start to just dry out and die back. You can harvest everything. If you want to harvest 1 or 2 throughout the summer as you need them to cook with it, that's fine. Just kind of dig up a little edge and pull a couple of them out of there, but leave the plant and it'll continue to grow more potatoes for you. Once they start dying back and it's time to harvest them all, we'll pull them all out, and then I'll just set them out for usually 2 to 3 days in a shady spot outside. And just, once again, it's kind of just letting that skin dry out and toughen up a little bit. The potatoes seem to store longer if you can do that, and it's better for them as far as long-term storage goes. We don't have any kind of special storage spot. I'll stick them in a dark spot in my basement, and they'll usually last. I can usually still eat them through till about January or February, and then they start to just grow roots that are way too long. And so then we just hang on to those and plant them the next year, and we'll get more potatoes. Anyway, that is the Pinto Gold potatoes that I got from Johnny's Seeds. Great potato with amazing flavor, ranges in all sizes of potato, so it just works for anything. We love it. If you have any questions, give me a holler in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy your own potato plantings. Share with me some of your favorite varieties. And thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.